Okay, so tonight's topic is about Melacha she'eina tzricha legufa.
Going from the Mishnah or somewhere else?
From the Mishnah. The Mishnah on the first page. So we know that on Shabbos, when you do a Melacha, it's possible to be Chayiv Misa. So, but there is some conditions to it. And also, we have to have the right intentions, the right machshavas. I wouldn't say the right ones, but you have to have certain specific intentions. Kavonas, machshavas.
Melacha from the Lametet Melacha?
From the Lametet Melachas. In order to be chayiv, you need to have specific machshavas. And where do we know this from? So we know this from the Gemara. The Gemara in Chagiga says, it says by the Mishkan, by the Melacha Mishkan. In Melacha Mishkan it says that they made the work by the Mishkan. When they were building the Mishkan, they made a Melachas Machshavas. It was made a handiwork, which was it was a professional work. But Machshavas could also mean Machshava. That the Melacha was done with Machshava. The Mishkan, when they made the Melacha by the Mishkan, when they did the work for the Mishkan, it was done with Machshava. They had thoughts.
They had good architects.
They're good architects. Yeah. Tzalel.
In order to who's the other one?
We have from the Shevet Dan. We also have.
You were 13 years old.
Yes.
13 years old.
Yeah, 13.
Wow.
Kopanim, so what does this have to do with Shabbos? Because it says by the Mishkan that the Melacha was done with Machshava, Melachas Machshavas, and next to it, it talks about not doing Melacha on Shabbos. Shalom Aleichem. Next to it.
You mean if you make Melacha, you didn't think to do the Bechavana, so it's okay.
Oh, exactly. That's what we're getting to. So it says it it says it about not working on Shabbos. If we make a hekesh, we put them together. We say just like by the Mishkan there was machshava when they did the Melacha, so too on Shabbos you have to have machshava, Melachas Machshavas. Now what does it mean, Melachas Machshavas? After machshava. So Rabbi Sasson was saying one point. He was saying that you have to have machshava. You have to have kavanah what you're doing. Yeah, that's one discussion. One thing, you have to have kavanah what you're doing. But there's many different types of machshava you have to have in order to be chayiv. Okay, so, in order for someone to actually be chayiv misa for doing Melacha on Shabbos, not so easy. They have to have they have to be a big lamdan. They have to know a lot of Gemara exactly what they were supposed to think about. Because if you didn't have exactly what you're supposed to think about, so then you're going to be patur.
How about witnesses?
Oh, you need witnesses, you need asra.
Yeah, that's a different stuff.
Yeah, it's different.
No, but part of it too.
Yeah, all's good, yeah. So, but today we're going to specifically speak about one of the machshavas, one of the kavanas you have to have in order to do it, when you do a Melacha in order to be chayiv. And this is called Melacha she'eina tzricha legufa. Melacha tzricha legufa. You have to have machshava for legufa. What does it mean legufa? What do you mean legufa? Machshava for legufa.
If you walk on the grass,
yeah,
you have no machshava to kill the grass.
Oh, so this discussion, so this is another, you're right. This is actually, what you're bringing up about walking on the grass, actually Gemara also on Shabbos. And it's also learned out from Melachas Machshavas. But it's learned out from a different thing that we learn out from Melachas Machshavas. From Davar Shem Neskavan. Davar Shem Neskavan. Now you're not over there, you don't have kavanah at all. Melacha she'eina tzricha leguf is you have kavanah for the Melacha. But you're not having the need for what you need this Melacha for is not the need which the Torah says you have to have in order to be chayiv.
You walk on the grass, but you have other road next to the grass, and you definitely walk on the grass. You didn't walk from here.
That's a side issue, but you did walk on the grass.
So that discussion again.
But it's not machshava. I want to walk to get to point A. And I have a grass here, and I have a road here, not with a grass.
So your name is Albert Einstein. You're walking without you know what I'm saying?
So this discussion, we're going to maybe in another shir about Davar Shem Neskavan. This discussion. Today we want to discuss about the Melacha she'eina tzricha legufa, which we're saying is that you are having kavanah for this Melacha, to do this Maisa, to do this action. But the reason why you're doing it is not the reason why the Torah says you have to do this Melacha for in order to be Chayiv. So the Gemara is we have the papers in front of you. The Gemara is in Sechah Shabbos at the Gimel of the Beis. We'll start from the Mishnah. The beginning of the Mishnah is not Negea, but since we're reading the Mishnah, we'll read it from the beginning. But really the end of the Mishnah. If somebody does a Melacha Seitzah, he carries. And what does he carry? He carries food which is less than the shear which you're chayiv for carrying on Shabbos. Because like we know, when you carry outside, if you carry out a crumb, maybe you're not supposed to do it, but you're not going to be chayiv for carrying out a crumb outside. It has to be a certain amount, the shear of kezayis. Depends also what type of food it is. So, but it was pachas shear. If you carry it out less than the shear which you need to have in order to be chayiv for hitzah, for going out, for carrying outside on Shabbos. So obviously you're pater. So what's the chiddush then? What is he coming to tell us? He's coming to tell us something else. He carried out bekeli. He carried out inside using a utensil. He took a cup and in it he had a few crumbs. And the point of why he was carrying it wasn't for the cup, it was for the crumbs. So now, since his purpose is for the crumbs, he doesn't care about the keli. So even though the keli does have a shear, and for carry, if you would just be carrying out the keli for itself, you would be chayiv because the keli has the amount which you need to be chayiv. But since the whole purpose of the keli is just to bring out the food, and the food is less than the shear, so you're going to be pater also on the keli. That's what the first halach is. Meitze ichlan bachvan kashir bekli pater. Afal keli, even the keli you're also pater. Shakeli tveilole, because the keli is secondary to the food. It's tough. The next case, which goes like this: as a chayv mita, let's say someone carries out a living person in a bed. So pater, he's also pater. Why? So like Rashi says, because a person who's alive, he sort of lifts himself up a little bit. He's lighter than a person who Chas v'Shalom is not with us. Chai neses atzmei, exactly. Chai neses atzmei. Person's alive.
Heavy as you are.
Yeah. So it's a big difference. So therefore he sort of lifts himself up.
In the army, they used to make us every group. You take a stretcher, you put the heaviest guy on the stretcher. You have to go miles and miles to carry, and every little bit, other 4 people.
Wow.
And we used to head this guy, a heavy guy with all the guns and everything on here.
Yeah.
Masal unkot.
So if you're carrying this guy alive on the mitzvah, so on Shabbos, let's say the story which he said is on Shabbos, he's pater afal mitzvah, and even though the mitzvah, the bed is you are carrying the bed. Because the bed is second is tafel to the living thing, and the living thing you're not chayiv because it's carrying itself. Now the next case, this is which.
So this could be somewhat applied to babies in a carriage.
Yes, definitely. But I'm saying I don't want to go off. Just since you're just mentioning it.
Somewhat.
The din of Chayis Nesas Atzmi is only if he's able to walk.
Oh, but not a baby.
Yeah. Okay, but I don't want to go into. Fine.
Okay.
As a meis b'mita chayiv. But what about if it's a meis b'mita? You're carrying a dead person, in a mita, in a bed. So then you are chayiv. Why? Because that person's not carrying himself. So you're chayiv for carrying that person. Chen kezayis min a meis. So too if it's a kezayis from a meis. If it's a small amount, just like a kezayis from a mace, that's already amount to be chayiv. Why? Because it has a certain chshivus, a kezayis. A kezayis is the amount which is able to make tumah. That's why it has a chshivus, has a certain, it has certain chshivus to it, importance to it, and therefore you can be chayiv for that amount of taking out from a mace. And so to kezayis min anavela, because also that's what makes tumah. Of a dead body, of an animal also, has a kezayis mixed tumah. Therefore, you can be chayiv for carrying that, or ka'adashim and asheretz. And from asheretz, one of the 8 types of shratzim, which the Torah says, which mixed tumah, is also it's a smaller amount, it's an amount of a lentil, of a dasha. All these cases you're chayiv. That's a Tanakama. Rabbi Shimon says you're pater.
Interesting Rashi.
So this is the Rashi is important, the Rashi is important, and this is where we're coming in over here. The machlekes over here in the Mishnah, let's see it outside first. Machlekes is, what's the machlekes? If someone's taking out a mace from a house, a mace passed away in the house, and you're taking it out of the house.
It is in Shabbat.
On Shabbos, you really have to leave it in the house. So you're taking it out into the Shus Rabim, and you're taking it out to the Shus Rabim. So what's the din? So machlekes. The Tana Kama says you're Chayiv, and Shimon says you're Patur. And what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you taking out the mace? So it's explained, the Rishonim explain the reason why you're taking out the mace. Like any kohenim over here? No.
But that's not the issue. There was a mess on East 19th Street between I and the Cut years ago.
Yeah.
Kohen.
Yeah.
He had to stay in the house because he's a son. You have to be. You couldn't be matama to a father.
Okay, so let's say it's another claim, right? But this is what the Rishonim say. The Rishonim says the problem of tumah.
You have an extra copy?
Yeah, here. We could take this copy. So let's say.
Yeah, come on.
It's fine.
Nice one.
It's good. It's all the same.
Right here?
So the problem is the problem with tumah. There are some Rishonim which also say the problem is that it doesn't smell good. I said some but that's a machlekes. I don't want to go into. Exactly. That's exactly the discussion. So we're trying to take it out from the house. Why is he doesn't want it in his house? Because there's a problem of tumah in the house, and is making problems for everything in the house. It's tamei. Right back in the day, it was a big worry about tumah v'tara. Even if now it wasn't a kohen, it wasn't a kohen back in the day. So everything, nothing could go in here. Nothing. Akopanim, he wants it out of the house. So we have a machlekes. The Tana Kama says that you're chayiv for taking it out, and Reb Shimon says you're patur. What's the reason for the machlekes? The reason is Melacha she'ein tzrich l'gufa. What does that mean? So Rashi is going to explain. So we're going to have a machlekes Rashi and Taisus. Well, let's start with Rashi. Rashi is going to explain like this. Why are you trying to get it out of your house? Why are you trying to get this mace out of your house? Because
it's no good.
It's no good over here, right? It's making problems over here.
The ruach.
The ruach, the
Tumah.
yeah. It's making problems over here. There's hezek, as you say.
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
Tumah.
So what are you doing? You're trying to get rid of this hezek. This hezek is going on over here. You want to get rid of this hezek.
So that's a tzrich l'gufa.
That's so. So if it's trying to get rid of hezek, so then it's called eina tzrich l'gufa.
Not tzrich l'gufa. Where do you get the eina if he wants to get rid of the mashal the ruach? So it's tzrich l'gufa.
You're saying that l'chora is a tzricha. You're asking l'chora you need it. You need to get rid of it. You need this action. You need this ma'aser. You're saying you need this ma'aser, right? Because of the bad action. So why are we saying it's eina tzrich l'gufa if you need it? L'chora it's tzricha. So the point is like this. It could be a tzricha. But if it's not tzricha l'gufa, so then you're patur. What does it mean not tzricha l'gufa? Which means if you don't want it for a positive purpose, you're just trying to get it out of your way. You would rather it wasn't here in the first place. It's not something that you want over here.
It's not a pleasure.
It's this you don't want to do this melacha. Nothing you want. It's not something you want to get rid of the hezek. You want to get rid of something which is bothering you. You want to get rid of something bothering you. So then that's called ein tzrich l'gufa. I don't actually need this action. This action is here just to get rid of something which is bothering me. I don't need actually this thing itself. Let's see it in the Lashon of Rashi. The Rashi is over here on the Mishnah.
The language itself,
Yeah. Yeah.
that itself indicates the gufo means you need it for its own sake.
Right, exactly. Very good. Shkayach.
Here it says l'gufa, not with a vav, with a head.
L'gufa, that's the whole discussion on the Gemara. The Gemara is going to discuss it. Very good. We have right away, everything away, eh? Okay.
You gotta follow the Rashi.
Let's look at Rashi over here, yeah? Shimon played Shimon says here played it says, see where the Mishnah that says Masnissim, there's a Rashi, Masnissim on the left side. So it's not the first, it's the third Rashi, third Diramas, but Reb Shimon played Everyone have it? Okay, Reb Shimon Reb Shimon says I feel a Mei Shalom even if we're discussing a Mei Shalom because we discussed in the Mishnah also other one. Why? The heavy Melacha she'ein tzrich l'gufa. Because taking out a mace is a Melacha she'ein tzrich l'gufa. Chol Melacha she'ein tzricha el l'sauko me'alav. You see that? El l'sauko me'alav is there only to take it, to be mesalik it from you, to get it away from you. Heavy malacha shein etzricha legufa, like you say, it's not for the sake of the malacha, right? The britzene, if it was up to him in his will, his ratzin, leibala, he wasn't interested that this situation should come here right now. But and he didn't need it. Therefore, like we said, because we learned that from Malach's Machshavas, it actually said, therefore, it's not considered Malach's Machshavas. You're not having the Machshava, which the Torah says you have to have in order to be Chayiv. The Reb Shimon, according to Reb Shimon. Who's the Tanakama? The Tanakama argues. The Tanakama says, even though it's Melacha Shein Etzricha L'Gufa, still all you're Chayiv. He doesn't hold of this. So it's Machlekes. Rabbi Yehuda, which is the Tanakama, doesn't say his name over here, but we see from other places. Rabbi Yehuda holds and Melacha Shein Etzricha L'Gufa is Chayiv.
So
and Reb Shimon says it's Potter.
So the one
and the halacha is like Reb Shimon.
So the one Rabbi Yehuda, that's why he's Chayiv. Does he say he's Chayiv because this type of thing, where he doesn't want the mace in the room, is a Melacha?
Hatzricha L'Gufa? No. He holds always his Chayiv.
There's no such thing as Tzricha L'Gufa.
Exactly.
A Melacha is a Melacha. That's it. You did it on purpose, and you're doing this.
Yeah.
In the hospital, kosher hospital, like my manager is there, it's if they have a dead Shabbat, and my father-in-law died, they have a special room all the way in the back, covered, and my two kids was watching until Motzei Shabbos when Rabbi Kadisha came.
So you're saying that the Yidden are moving the mass from the hospital to a separate building?
No, from the same building.
Kicking in the hospital, not to a separate morgue.
In the corner. It's all the way in the end of the
What's the difference? The end of this, it's still the tumor is covered.
I'm telling you, that's the way. Okay. My kids was very young, and I went with my mother-in-law, and I told him to watch it.
Yeah, it only have good things. So it says. Fine. So let's turn the page. Then we're going to see a long taste over here. It's like Dala, the next page. This taste is really supposed to go in the Mishnah. It's in the wide lines. You'll see that it's like 5 lines from the Reb Shimon Peter. It's 5 lines from the top of the wide lines. Reb Shimon Peter. Reb Shimon has and Reb Shimon Peter. Now the Taisus has a whole different opinion on Malach's Machshavas. He has a whole different opinion. And this is one of those things which you say there's 2 Yidden, so there's 10 opinions. So over here, everyone has, every Rishon, every Achron, everyone has their opinion about this. Okay, so we have this taste. Now what is Taste going to say? Taste is going to say a whole different thing. Taste is say a whole different thing. So what do we say about Rashi? What do we say? How does Rashi say Malach Shein Etzricha L'Gufa? Let's just remember what we just said. So what? That you need to want this Malacha to be here, but if it's here just to get rid of something which is a hezek, so then it's not called Malach's Machshavas. I'll give you another example, by the way, just having Rashi ready over here. Another example. Let's say you're in upstate, and there's some creature which maybe is not life-threatening, but he could harm you. He could give you a nice bite and harm your body in some way. So you're trying to capture this animal on Shabbos. Are you allowed to capture this animal on Shabbos?
Capture? No.
So usually you can't capture because it's a Melacha of Tzeder.
Let's see.
Melacha of Tzeder, right? Because it's one of the Melachas, so now they're capture. Or even kill, right? Sheikhet, right? But if it's going to cause you Hezek HaGuf, the Rebbe paskins that since it's a Melacha Shein Etzricha L'Gufa, can anyone guess why it's a Melacha Shein Etzricha L'Gufa according to Rashi?
Because you don't need that animal. You just want to take it. It shouldn't hurt you.
Exactly.
Convenient for you.
It's taking away the hezek. It's a Menias HaHezek. Menias HaHezek. Menias HaHezek. You're holding back from a hezek which could happen over here. So even though, there's one important thing. We paskin like Reb Shimon, that Malach Shein Etzricha L'Gufa is taka potter. Therefore it's, but I said the word potter. And over here the Mishnah says Reb Shimon Pater. We know that when we say Pater, it's only that it's potter, but it's Avol Aser. Pater Avol Aser. So it's really Aser. But in this case, with the animal, since it's going to cause Hezek HaGuf, so this is going to cause damage to the body, so then it's mutter. since it's already only midrabanan, since it's Melacha and Tzricha L'Gufa, therefore, the place of Hezek HaGuf, we're going to say it's mutter. If it would be Hezek Mammon, if the money would be damaged, we wouldn't allow you to do it, because it's still awesome midrabanan. Right? But since it's a Hezek HaGuf, so we allow you to kill this creature, or to capture it in any way, so people shouldn't get harmed with it.
What does Pata Avalasa mean? That means B'di'evet only?
It means midrabanan, it's awesome. Min HaTorah, it's
It
mutter.
doesn't mean, I thought Pata Avalasa means you're trying to say it's B'di'evet, it's Pata, because you shouldn't have done it to begin with.
Right, it is potter, right? Exactly, that's what it means. But in the first place, you shouldn't do it. It's only midrabanan. You shouldn't do it, which means min hatayra Melacha Tzricha L'Gufa is mutter. Min hatayra. Chacham said it's aser, but in certain circumstances, like we said, this case of Hezek HaGuf, in the case when the guf's going to get damaged from this creature, so then you're allowed to do a Melacha Tzricha L'Gufa. You're allowed to kill it or capture it, because you're capturing or you're killing it isn't just holding back from Hezek. You don't actually want this. What would be Tzricha L'Gufa? If, let's say, you wanted to capture this creature to use its skin to make a fur from it. So that would be that Tzricha L'Gufa, because you want to use it. That would be that you want it. You want to capture it because you want to use it for something, for medicine, for something. You want to use it.
A non-poisonous snake that you're trapping is ancient.
Yeah, non-poisonous snake. If it could make hurt a person, yeah.
If it's not poisonous, you can hurt anything.
You could?
If it's not poisonous, you
Actually, let's take it back. It can still choke you.
But that's only constrictors.
Right, so I don't know. I don't. I'll leave it up to you to figure out which ones are I don't know these.
So how dangerous is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, like it says, for example, in Brachot, where it talks about the scorpion.
Right. If it's around.
No, a snake
right.
is not mazik. It's
right.
specifically if the snake starts crawling up your leg,
right.
you can't
to continue davening, right?
Scorpion,
right.
but if the scorpion, yes, you can, yeah.
Obviously, it depends what type of snake and what type of place, right? Yeah.
Okay,
obviously, right.
Most snakes are not dangerous.
Right.
That's right.
Right. So exactly. So you would use your common sense to figure out this situation and.
When I was learning the Weinstein's issue, it happened once on Shabbat.
Yeah.
That a bee came in at the table, and so while we were having the Shabbat meal, so we captured it. We put it
cup and top of the plate.
Okay.
Because a bee is dangerous. It stings somebody.
Okay. I was thinking about that. Yeah, could be possible. Yeah, definitely possible. Yeah. Okay. Let's see the Taisus. But Taisus has a different explanation. Taisus' explanation is like this. Till now we said L'Gufa, like he said, for the sake of the Melacha, that you want this Melacha. Taisus is going to say L'Gufa, Melacha Tzricha L'Gufa means you need it for the same need that they had in the Mishkan when they did the Melacha. Because we learned the Lamatas Melacha is, where do we learn it out from? We learn it out from the way it was from the Mishkan. So when they were building the Mishkan. So when they were building in the Mishkan, when they did this Melacha, they used it for a specific tzedek, that a certain need which they used it for, which they did this Melacha for. So in order to be Chayiv on Shabbos, as they says, you need to have the need which you have has to have the same tzedek that they had when they were doing this Melacha, when they were building the Mishkan. You have to have the same tzedek that they had in the Mishkan. And that's what Tzricha L'Gufa is. Many times it's going to be the same thing as like Rashi. But there could be some differences. Okay, so that's the difference. He said, Rashi is saying that you have to want this malach. It's nothing to do with it. We don't have to go looking. Let's look in the Lamatas malachas to see what tzedek they had in the Mishkan. We don't have to go back looking in Lamatas malachas. Rashi has a general rule. He says if you have a ratzon, you want this malacha, and it's not here just in order to hold back hezek, so then it's called tzricha l'gufa. But Taisa says we have to keep looking let's go look at the way it was done in the Mishkan. If the way they did on the Mishkan was for a certain tzedek, so then you have to have that tzedek in order to be chayiv on Shabbos. That's called tzricha l'gufa. Okay, let's see it inside. Okay, so it's the big Taisa over here. Rabbi Shimon Pleiter. It's like 4 lines from the wide lines on top. Rabbi Shimon Pleiter. Nida l'ri, right? The balatesis. Okay? The Melacha shein is tzrich legufa. What is Melacha shein legufa? Kari. What is it called? Kishaisa Melacha. When you do a Melacha, vein tzarich leis et tzeirekin shein tzrich levemishkan. If you don't need the same tzricha that you had in the Mishkan, you have a different reason why you need it. Say the sheisa Melacha nasas b'shvil b'Mishkan, because the tzrich, the need which you had, which the Melacha was done in the Mishkan for that tzedek, for that reason, hu guf ha-Melacha v'sher. That is the guf of the Melacha and its source. So here I was teaching. Here's teaching Melacha tzrich leguf a little differently. He's saying the Melacha needs to be tzricha legufa for the guf ha-Melacha, which means the Melacha the way it was actually in the Mishkan. The reason that it was done in the Mishkan for. You have to do the Melacha also for that same reason in order to be Chayiv on Shabbos. If you're not doing the Melacha for that reason, if you're doing it for a different reason, so then you're going to be Pater. Okay, now the line starts with Fizeh. Asi Kula Shapir. Now he's going to go through the whole list of a lot of Melachas. Everything comes out good. Heitzah Sameis, taking out a mace, which that's our mission over here. Taking out a mace, doing Heitzah and carrying him, the Melacha of Heitzah. So Ein Tzarech L'Meis. He's carrying out the mace. He doesn't need the mace. He's just trying to get out of his house because there's a tumah over here. He wants it out of his house, but he doesn't need the house. He doesn't need the mace. But in the Mishkan, when they took out the objects that they were taking, it's good. You're talking another Bavio. But when they're taking out the objects, but that wasn't part of the Malach, right? So they're taking out the objects from their rishus. Let's say I had the Zav and Chesed, and I wanted to bring it to Moshe Rabbeinu. Yeah. Moshe Rabbeinu was in Machne Levia, so I had to take it out from the Shaliach Rishus Rabbim. So all I was carrying, so that's Heitzah, and I was coming to bring him the Zav and Chesed in order to be used for the Mishkan. So we needed the Zav, the gold and silver, and all those tapestries. We needed all for the Mishkan. We needed it. It wasn't that we were trying to get rid of it from our house. We were trying to take it out of our Rishus HaYachid to bring it to be used. We were bringing it to the Rishus HaRabbim. So we needed what we were taking out. We needed it. On the other hand, when you're taking out a mace from the house, you don't need the mason where you're bringing it out to. You're just trying to get rid of it from where you are. So it's not like in the Mishkan.
Is there was a collection period until the Mishkan was built.
Yeah.
And in the collection period, were they, let's put it this way, were they allowed to do it on Shabbos, or only the actual building allowed to do it on Shabbos, so not the collection?
So we're not saying that if the Melacha itself, the Melacha of the Mishkan we didn't do on Shabbos, right? But we learn out the Lamatas Melachis from the Melachis that were in the Mishkan. Not that the Melachis were done on Shabbos. We learn out the Lamatas Melachis from where? We learn out from the Mishkan. From the Melachis that was done by the Mishkan.
So I don't understand your example with Kesef.
So you're bringing out Zav Chesed on a regular day, on Montik.
Right.
So Monday night at 9 o'clock, you decided to schlep out your Zav Chesed from your house, from your Shus HaYachid to the Shus HaRabbim. And you're carrying it. Now you need the Zav Chesed. You need it for the Mishkan, to be used for the Mishkan. Are you just trying to get rid of it from your house? No, I like my Zav Chesed. I don't mind it in my house. I like it. It's very hard for me to parfait, but I'm doing it for Simcha because I'm doing it for the Mishkan. So I needed the Zav Chesed in the place where I was bringing it. So in other words, in order to be Chayiv for Eitzah, what do I need to do? I need to have a tzorich in the objects which I'm taking out in the place where I'm bringing it.
Right.
If I don't need it where I'm bringing it, so then I'm not going to be Chayiv. Because in the Mishkan they took out the Zav Chesed in order to use it where they're bringing it.
Exactly.
But in the case of Eitzah mace, by the mace which passed away Chas V'Sholom in the house, and I'm just trying to get rid of it. I don't need it in place B. I don't need it sitting over there. I just need it out of my house. And that's not like in the Mishkan. In the Mishkan they weren't just trying to get rid of the gold and silver. So you say, what's the Taich Melacha Tzrich L'Gufa means? And you have to have the same tzedek that they did this Melacha in the Mishkan.
Why don't you just do it in saying that you're taking out the bad from the good?
Why don't they say taking out the bad?
That's the next example. No?
Could be we'll get to it.
So
No, take a look at the next example.
Why are you
Turn the
giving
page.
this old big bluntish example?
Turn the page.
Because this is the case the Gemara talked about. So we're going to discuss this case over here. where he's going to go through the Taisus. Taisus is going to go through a whole bunch of examples.
Okay.
No, but I don't know if that's right, Betsy. That's just by Borer, a cloud. Who says that it's a cloud by...
Right, because here we're talking about Melachas Hitzah. Over here we're talking about carrying. The Melacha is carrying out from Shliach to Shesrabim. Right, that's correct.
I don't know if that doesn't would apply.
Yeah, L'chora. L'chora, right. Yeah. Okay. So he says further, another example, Sod Nachash, if you're capturing a snake, Shalo Yishacheno, in order that it shouldn't bite you. This is where we were discussing before.
Yes.
So a Sod is a Melacha, capturing is a Melacha, and you're capturing a snake, why? For what purpose? In order that it shouldn't bite you. So, Eini Tzarech L'Nachash, I don't need the snake. I don't need it. I don't want it. It's going straight to the garbage.
But I don't need his bites.
I don't need his bites either, yeah.
It's tough.
Even though...
Here's something, a Shabbos allowed to destroy, you're not supposed to destroy if you make something better, but you're allowed to destroy if you make it worse. So you're allowed to open up.
Taisus is going to discuss it later.
You're not capturing it for your benefit, it's for you don't want it.
Yeah, very good. And this example we're discussing about ripping, Taisus is going to talk about it later. We're going to get into it.
Even though most snakes are not dangerous, but the fact is that an awful lot of people are just afraid of them.
Right. Could be. It could be also part of the thing. The fact that a person could be scared and could get hurt from the trauma and from.
You don't have to go that far. Just the fact that people are scared of it. So you just want to get rid of it. So people shouldn't be scared.
Right. The question, if the question is if that's good enough to to make it mutter, right? There is such a svara that Pri Megadim is something about that if a person thinks that this snake is poisonous, even though in this area there's no poisonous snakes, but since he could get so scared from it and he could maybe it could be even life endangering from such a trauma. He goes as far to say, he says such a svara.
I say even more. I say even it's not people of nefesh. It's just the mere fact that they feel uncomfortable, they feel scared.
Right. So he's actually discussing. I don't want to get a little bit too off the thing. He's discussing according to the Yehuda Shitta because the Rambam is actually passing like the Yehuda, and which does say you're Chayiv in Melacha. We go for different Yibukok nefesh. I'll discuss it afterwards. I'm saying I don't want to go off from here. Yeah.
I believe you're allowed to swat. And also a mosquito, if you don't know, first of all, mosquito carrying virus, and B, people die from mosquitoes.
Okay, so he was discussing this before, and I don't know. I'm not an expert in the health thing. This I'll leave up to the Elam over here. I'll tell you the klal, and you can apply it.
This we're talking about people carrying their chest results to the mission. Is this more speculating, or you're allowed to carry from the other tradition for the sake of the mission?
At the time of the Mishkan? Oh, so he was asking at the time of the...
That's what you're learning right now.
No, but then it wasn't Shabbos. Then we learned out the Lamatas from the Mishkan, even though it wasn't on Shabbos.
So if it's not Shabbos, then what's the whole discussion?
No, we're talking about that we're doing the Melacha on Shabbos, but we learn out the Melacha from the Mishkan, which has
nothing to do with Shabbos.
Which nothing to do with Shabbos.
The same Melacha they did in the Mishkan, they applied for Shabbos.
That's where Melacha comes from.
Right, exactly.
But I'm asking, if somebody was to bring the Kesef Azov on Shabbos once a week, would they be allowed to?
No. No, they wouldn't be allowed. Okay, let's see the next. So we're still in the middle of catching the snake. Sad nachash shalei shechena. Capturing the snake in order to bite. It doesn't need the nachash. And the Mishkan, they needed the tachash. The tachash was this animal which was created just in order to be used in the time of the Mishkan.
Split the rocks.
That's the Shamir talking about. The tachash is like, I don't know, some people say unicorn, I'm not sure exactly, but it has beautiful skin and also its fur was also its hair was also beautiful, different colors, and they used it for the roof of the Mishkan. one of the layers of the roof of the Mishkan they used with the tachash. It's very beautiful, and it was created just specially so they could use it for the Mishkan. The chilazin, I'm sure everyone knows about the chilazin because many people think that there's a chilazin, right? But then they needed the tachash and they needed the chilazin because they wanted to use it for its skin, on the Mishkan. They wanted to use it. They weren't trying to they weren't scared of the tachash and the chalazin and trying to save themselves from the hezek of the tachash and chalazin. Adrabah, they were trying to capture the tachash and chalazin to use it. So it's not like by the nachash. By the nachash, you don't want to use the nachash. You want to be saved from its bites. So by tachash and chalazin, that's the way it was in the Mishkan that they needed to use it. So in order to be chayiv also today for capturing would be if you need to use the skin or the fur or the hair or whatever it is. Right. So also today it's the same thing. That's when it will be tzrik l'gufa. But if you're just using in order to save yourself from azik, then you're going to be pot.
The chalazon is not the tchelet from the tzitzit.
Yeah. So the chalazon, the same thing. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. Another example, the line said tzrichim. Another example, l'meifis mursa. Lahitzi lecha. Mursa is like a sort of like a growth on a person's let's say hands, right?
What?
I'm not sure if it's really a wart. Maybe it's worse than pus. Like it has pus in it, let's say.
Okay.
An infection, let's say. So mephis means that you like pop it. You pop the pus that should be able to come out.
With a needle and everything comes out.
Lahitzi lecha, to take out all the pus from it.
Okay.
Hamizikasi, which it's harming you, this pus.
30.
But when you popped it, you didn't want to also ear it out. Because in order to make it a proper refuah, what you would do is, you would pop it in order that the pus should be able to come out. And at the same time, you wanted that ear should be able to come and ear it out, and have and through that have a refuah for it. Give it also have a refuah. So, but this person, if he's popping the pus, let's say a person has I don't know, how do you call it? It's with pus. If it's infected. Mugla.
No, but in English.
It's called abscess. So
pimple with pus.
So you're popping it to take out the pus, but not in order to bring in ear also. Well, the heitzi lecha tamid, and to bring in ear and to keep taking out pus. Only when you pop it just to take out the pus right now. Afal pisha nasa pasagomer. What's the Melacha? If let's say you would make a hole in it in order that it should be able to continuously take out the pus and continuously ear out and bring more ear out. So what would be the problem with that on Shabbos? The problem is you're making a door. It sounds funny, right? Usually you don't have doors on your fingers, right? Doors are usually on the house. But yeah, they say this is called a door. Why? Because what is a door? A door is to take in and take out. So it has to take in and take out. So if you're popping it and the pus is coming out, but you don't care about that ear should come into it and heal it, you just want a one way, it's not a two way, so then it's not considered a Pesach. It's not considered a door. A door has to be a two-way street. Two-way revolving.
But automatically, if the puff come out, the air come in.
Automatically, right. But if that's not your machshava, again, even though it's automatically, that's what happened. That's what he says over there. It actually became a full door. Opening. Let's just speak. Practically, it means opening, right? Even though it's a complete opening, but we're discussing over here. You have to have machshavas. That your machshava has to be for the machshava of what makes it into a melacha, the way it was in the Mishkan. If it's a melacha she'ein tzrich l'gufa, if you're doing the melacha, but your machshava is not the same way, it's not for the same tzedek which they had in the Mishkan. So then it's melacha she'ein tzrich l'gufa, your pater.
A lot of things that we did in the Mishkan, it's not applied to our generation.
But it could be.
It could be, but
like in this case, because why is it considered a Pesach Gomer? Like you're saying, it is Actually, in actuality, it is. It could take out pus and it could bring in ear if you needed it. But actually, you never had machshava for to bring in ear also. You had machshava to take it out. So even though b'poil mamash is a pesach gomer, but since your machshava wasn't for a complete pesach, so it's not similar to the way the doors were in the Mishkan, the openings were in the Mishkan.
So much pain.
So that there it was in the Mishkan, the doorways, the openings were to take in and take out. So since your machshava was only to take out the pas, not to put in here, even though b'pleil mamash it does to bring in here, since your machshava wasn't for that, so it's ain't tzricha l'gufa. But let's say your machshava was in order to make an opening, a mouth for it, to take out pus continuously and to bring in always ear. Damil mishkan, it is similar to the mishkan. V'chayiv. Another example, harigas mazikim, which is similar to the snake. Let's say harigas mazikim. Let's say you're killing mazikim, but earlier we're discussing tzeda, the melacha of capturing. Now we're discussing killing them. Are you allowed to kill a creature which might come and harm you? Let's say it's not pekuach nefesh. So if it's going to harm your goof, so if it's ein tzricha l'gufa, then it's considered ein tzricha l'gufa, because in the Mishkan they needed, like he's going to say now, you're
allowed to kill a snake in Shabbos.
If the snake is going to harm your goof, so you're allowed to
kill it because you don't need the skin.
Right. Because you don't need it. If you would need the skin, so then you're not allowed to. And you're not allowed to. In the Mishkan they killed, they shechted the Eilim, which is the rams, in order to use their skin.
Right.
So that's the way it was in the Mishkan. So whatever reason they did it in the Mishkan, if you do it for that reason, so then you're chayiv. But if you're not doing it for that reason, then you're potter. As before, but it's still awesome at the bottom. In certain cases, it's going to be mutter, like if it has like a goof. Another example, l'cheifer guma. Let's say someone digs a pit on Shabbos. The ain't tzarich alafra, but he doesn't need the pit. All he needs is the dirt. He needs the dirt. He doesn't need the pit.
Cannot be dirt without pit. You have to make a pit to get the dirt.
Why? Hold on. You can have a mound, and you can take away the mound, and there's no pit.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You don't need the pit. But even if you want to say that the pit is automatically there, but your machshav is for the pit.
No, for the dirt.
So even though, again, just like the mursa, even though a pale mamish you have a peh which takes out the pus and brings in the air, since your machshava wasn't for it, so it's ain't tzrich l'guf.
In an apricot, you're left with a pit. What are you going to do?
Everything is going to machshava.
Yeah. You're left with a pit.
Yeah, machshava is important. Machshava is important. It's not, it's not only about ma'isa. Machshava is also important. You're going to be pater. So over here, you don't need the pit. You don't want the pit. Could be you don't want the pit. Or akrapanim, you don't mind it's there, but you don't need it. Only way you need the dirt. But in the Mishkan they did need the pit. Where did they need the pit? Linetzba, in order to put into it, let's say to put their tent, right? To put the say in this by the Mishkan to put the sedot, yeah. The zav is if like a man has, it doesn't happen today, but has a discharge. So the din is that he's so if it's a machla, it's a sickness. So if they would go around the kiss with a certain,
like a diaper.
Yeah, like a diaper, something exactly, to be able to catch the but why is he doing it? Shalei tam for Caleb, he doesn't want to get all dirty. So have ein tzrich l'guf. That's also ein tzrich l'gufa. She'ein tzarich l'kisatzmi. He doesn't need the kiss. He doesn't need it. He's just there to protect him. And in the Mishkan, this is going back to Hitzah. We're talking about the Melacha Hitzah. So to be clear, we're talking about Hitzah. In the Mishkan, we said, well, by Melacha Hitzah, when you're taking out the gold and silver, they needed the gold and silver to use it for the Mishkan. So they took it out from their house, from their tent, and they brought it to the Mishkan to be used by the Mishkan. So they needed the things that they were taking out. But over here, he's taking out this diaper, whatever you're going to call it, in order to
not to get dirty.
Not to get dirty. In the Mishkan, they didn't do that. The Mishkan, they needed the thing they were taking out. So it's the din by Azav. There's certain dinim. It says in Chumash, it says certain dinim about Azav. That so if he sees twice, the difference between seeing twice or 3 times. If he sees twice, so then he doesn't bring a carbon. If he sees 3 times, then he does bring a carbon. So he needs to count how many times is he seeing.
Almost like a woman.
Yeah. So even if he needs this kiss in order to count, so he needs to count.
And he can't count if it's going in the kiss.
It's going if there's no kiss there. No, if it's a kiss, the kiss he's able to look at the kiss, he's able to see that it was there.
Because it's accumulated. If
he doesn't have a kiss, then he is not sure. Maybe it wasn't.
That's right.
Or Nakim, or he needs to count the Nakim, because the dinner by also that he has to wait Shiva Nakim, 7 clean days after he stops seeing, and the tzarech kiss, and he needs to see to make sure that he didn't see for those 7 days. So he needs the kiss. But he says, but it's true he needs the kiss, but he doesn't need it. He could have the same. He could, if he would have been sitting in his house, he would have the same. He would get to the same need also. Sitting in his house, he could come to the same need. There's no need for him. It's not because he needs to take it out because he's going out. If he doesn't need it there, he needs it here also. He needs it right here, just like he needs it there. The Hachinami Sagile would be.
That's a good example. You know why? Because this kiss is a beggar to him, so it becomes like a beggar. And going out to surround.
Oh, about a beggar. So this.
So then it becomes a beggar. So it's not carrying in the surround.
Oh, so this about carrying. So this is a discussion also in Shinalef. Alter brings it, and Ramesh also discusses it because Negi also to Mechdachu and to other things and to Chlal. But the Nekuda is also by Benegei a beggar to be considered a beggar. They can't be there just in order to. A beggar is not just for protecting from dirt. It's not a real beggar. Not a real beggar. But that's Hitzah. That's very
so he
important.
answered me. Okay, good.
But this is a discussion about this.
Like what women use.
Yeah, that's also a discussion. I'm saying that's obviously okay. But Meich Dachok is Benegea the woman, because I think it is part. Maybe it's because it's part of the
Levush.
and it's also something they wear for. I'm not sure, but this is. I think maybe it's part of the. I don't remember right now. But discussion Benegea that I know, but Payol Mamish it's not a problem. But Benegea Meich Dachok, that's the discussion. Mechdachok that they have to use to
say that word again. Oh, yeah.
So that they cannot go out on Shabbos. And that Ramesh discussion. That's a famous discussion. That they can't go. Well, that's something. That's a discussion, a different discussion. But yeah, it's a good question what you're saying. Yeah, I don't remember offhand. It could be because it's part of the kolim, but I don't remember. But I don't remember right now. It's a good question. Fine. Right. So he says. Somebody who also putting out, let's say there's a coal which is over there in the street. There's a fire going on over there in the middle of the street. And people can get hurt. And a rabbin, not just one person, a rabbin can get hurt.
California fire.
So, right? So Melacha shein tzrich l'gufa. First of all, obviously it's in a place where pork nefesh and probably, let's say, so obviously it's for sure mutter. But even a place, let's say, which is sure that it's not a case of pork nefesh, but people can still get hurt over there. If it's a rabbim, so then it's even mutter. It's not only pot, it's even mutter. Because makan hezek rabbim, then it's mutter to put out the chalas. And why? Because you're just trying to save yourself from damage. Someone also this is the Mishnah Lamed Aleph. If all these cases are all gemaras in different places. He's putting them all together. It's not just he's thinking of examples. These are all gemaras. Let's say a person's putting out a fire. Kibe, something very interesting. You should always know this. Putting out, extinguishing a fire is usually Melacha shein tzrich l'gufa, except for like 1 or 2 cases. Putting out a fire, putting out the light is usually Melacha shein tzrich l'gufa, except for I'm saying putting out the light is usually always Melacha but the reason is because you're just you're just taking away something over here, right? You're not doing in the Mishkan when they put out something, they put it out in order to make a coal from it. The way they used to make a coal was they used to, or sometimes some people have the minig also by Hanukkah wicks that they light it and they put it out. I don't know if you ever heard of this minig. Some people have this minig.
No, Erev Shabbos.
Hatavas and Nairos, yeah, that makes it.
Erev Shabbos, some people do it also, right?
We do it.
My father.
I prepare the candle for my wife and I took it off.
Because when you light a wick that's already burned,
Yeah.
it takes you.
It's easier, right? Exactly.
Make it easy,
Oh,
yeah.
very good. So, Baruch Hashem, so this is very.
No, there's another reason why Hanukkah people do that. Because you make it off on the wick if it's covered with wax. So
Yeah, the woman should buy from a prepared man.
I always prepare.
I always prepare beforehand, right?
Right. So that if you do that on Shabbos, so then it's tzrich l'gufa, you're chayiv. That's like the only case.
You don't prepare candle on Shabbos and fire.
Of course you're not. You don't do any Melacha on Shabbos. But if someone does it on Shabbos, that would be like the only time that would be considered tzrich l'gufa. Because then the putting it out is in order to make something to make the coal, and that's what they did in the Mishkan.
that's what making the proof.
But that's the only case. Usually kibbeh is ein tzrich l'gufa. And it's going to be very interesting sometimes, because sometimes we find cases that the Gemara talks about your chayiv by chayiv by a kibbeh, and like Taisus has to say, yeah, it must be that you wanted to make a coal, like you're putting out a fire in the house, right? It's ein tzrich l'gufa. Taisus says, yeah, but you wanted it for a coal or something, saying it's like funny things, right? We have sometimes we can come into funny. Usually kibbeh is ein tzrich l'gufa.
So why should there be such a big thing about putting out a fire?
So it's up.
I mean, like you have to, me or again, you have to let the house burn down.
First of all, right, 100%. What you're discussing is the time of the Gemara. Today, right, because today we want to put out the fire as soon as possible, unless obviously there's no chash at all. It's in a foil pan and there's no problem.
Yeah.
But let's say in the Gemara, like he says, there are the big discussions about putting out fires on Shabbos, and you have to let the house burn down and everything. Yeah. It's true, and because although it's Issa D'Rabbanan, Melacha Shein is Tzrich L'gufa, we says Motem Natayl, it's only Issa D'Rabbanan, but for Hefsid Mammon, it's still Asur. Even if your whole house burns down, it's still Asur. Only for Hezek HaGuf, that's what we were discussing before. If someone's going to get hurt, I don't know how much, I'm not clear on how much the Hezek HaGuf has to be. People are saying, you said about bees and everything, possibly, could be. I'm saying, yeah, ask your Rav. How much?
Today you call 911 right away. Fire department.
Fire you have to put out right away. Fire you put out right away today. But he's asking from the way the Gemara
They
discussed.
extended the fire.
I had a Rebbe in elementary school, and his house burned down on Shabbos, and he told us all this. He let it burn down, he didn't tell anybody.
Maybe he wanted for his insurance, maybe. No, I'm joking.
I never asked.
Wow, speaking of Siddur Nefesh. It's real...
It's not known.
No, I'm saying... But yeah, no, you have
Nowadays,
to... No, they say the Gemara is talking about, let's say in the middle of the midbar. Your house is in the middle of the midbar. You know, and today you have an apartment building, your rows attached, and one house is, and who knows, you might forget somebody chas v'shalom in the house. Saying, let's say you're by yourself, you're living in a shack in the middle of Wyoming, and you're growing potatoes. Saying, there's cement.
Not harm anybody.
Whatever, it's not going to harm anyone for sure. So then you can let your house burn down.
The potatoes don't
But if not for that,
good.
you should put it out right away, and
That's good.
you know.
The ground's not gonna burn.
That's what the Mishnah says, right? That's right. But the Mishnah is talking about such a case. But today we don't. Okay, but that's a different discussion.
Only if there's a case of somebody's life in danger, then.
But today it's very. Let's say it comes to a gas line. It's a big explosion. You think it's just a small little thing. Let me just put some water around. Very soon it catches on a curtain. You have to ask the fire departments exactly. I'm saying this is you have to. Leilenu, we had a fire this year by the Hanukkah and things. Right? These things are very scary. You don't play around with. Okay, whatever. This is not my shit. I'm not the fire department. Yeah.
So what's much to do? Call.
You put it out right away. That's what you do.
Oh, even before you call for emergency?
you don't need a kol. If it goes out, it goes out. But if okay, yeah. You have to be careful. Saying you have to be careful. You have to put it out right away. Saying obviously if you could throw it into the sink and it goes out by itself, you could do that. But if not, I'm saying if you do it with the shinei, so you could do it with the shinei. But if not, then you have to be very careful. It's chas v'shalom. Hakabana, let's finish up. It's almost made. So if someone's putting out a fire because he has because chas. He's worried about the nair is gonna.
That's about
yeah, Lamed Aleph. So chasal nair, the nair is the klicheres, which has the oil, and you have the wick coming out of it. And maybe the fire is too much. Maybe if it gets too hot, it's gonna break the nair. So putting it out for that. Val Hashem are putting it out because he wants that the oil should stay. He doesn't want to use up the oil. Or on the wick, which was already burnt beforehand. So you're putting it out, but it was already made like you call it, whatever. Ready before, blackened already before. Ein in sichel legufo. That's considered ein in legufo. Sheve mishkan leihe kibe alas b'chavim, because in the mishkan the kibe was not done only in order to make coals. The kibe is with that extinguishing. Masak and they had kibe and you fix through this. They used to fix through this extinguishing. Shiurim will max that safer to be able to for the smithy, to be able to make things with that fire. We're using this coal. And putting out. And you're gonna ask, they extinguished maybe when they were making the dyes for the curtains. So maybe they had to put out the fire in order that it shouldn't burn. It shouldn't burn too much the dyes. The bishul while they're cooking, you could say maybe that's what they had in the Mishkan. So maybe they were putting it out in order that it shouldn't burn. So that's the chura. Even if you're trying to save something, it should also be considered tzrich l'guf. It says Levi Mishkan didn't have such a Mishkan. Why? Because they were very careful not to make too big a fire. They always say that the kainim were very zrizin. They were very quick to answer. Okay, I think we have enough examples. It's an interesting hamshach. Maybe another time. So the kids are just a sikkum, just for 1 second. So we said that the Torah says that in order to be chayiv for doing a Melacha on Shabbos, you need to have a machshava, certain machshava for the Melacha. It's not enough that you have a machshava to do the Melacha, but you also have a machshava, the machshava for the reason why you're doing the Melacha, the tzedek, or why you're doing the Melacha, also has to have a specific reason. Because we just been saying according to Taisa says you have to have the same tzedek the way it was in the Mishkan. Whatever the tzedek was in the Mishkan, when you're doing that Melacha, you also have the same exact tzedek. If you're not having that tzedek, so then you're going to be pater. Still aser, but pater. But it's going to be mutter in certain cases. Rashi says what's Melacha shein tzrich l'gufa is that you have to want this Melacha. Nothing to do with the way it was in the Mishkan. You don't have to go looking the way the Melacha was in the Mishkan. You have to want this Melacha for something, for you to be here, and not in order just to save you from something. So they both agree if you're saving from something, usually that it's usually in tzrich l'gufa. But the reason why you need it has to be for exactly the way it was in the Mishkan. According to Teis, according to Rashi, no, even if it's not punked the way it was in the Mishkan, if you want that this Melacha should be here for a positive reason, not just in order to get rid of this thing which is bothering you, so it's considered tzrich l'gufa.